Hi everyone and welcome to... I've been doing some experiments and without even knowing I ended up by working or having a paste very similar to the one that Johnny Good from the website ultimatepapermache.com has been offering us since, I don't know, since he opened the channel and the website. I must say that since the beginning I wasn't able to achieve that paste, and I was rather skeptical also because it has flour. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago I've made some busts in sort of paper clay with flour, and they got really moldy and I had to throw them away. So I always thought that flour wasn't a good thing. With my experience with cold porcelain, I know that it doesn't get moldy. I don't know why. In the beginning I used a bit of oil, but not anymore, so it's just starch and glue, but never got moldy. And even I used to coat most of my works with what I would call liquid cold porcelain, which is basically the same paste but more water, or a tiny bit of water on the glue and less starch. It gives a kind of nice texture, smooth, and also protects the piece itself to get I don't know, scratches and stuff like that. And then yes, I would paint over and glaze. But as I was saying, I'm rather restless and I like to experiment. So to my paper clay sort of paste, which would be just chewed paper and glue and a tiny bit of oil. I don't know why. I thought it makes things smoother somehow. I added this thing, which I bought recently. It's not really a joint compound. I don't know actually what it is. I just know that people buy it to cover some cracks on the wall. It smells really nice. Somehow it smells like lime. Lime-ish, and it's white and dries rather fast and gives a nice smoochy texture to the clay, but it lacks some sort of plasticity, which also starch doesn't give much because it doesn't have the glue. So to my paper clay with this mixture, I've ended up by mixing a bit of flour and made this kind of chip. No, it's not to eat. And dried rather fast, and well, it's a nice smooth texture. Smells a bit flourish. And I thought, well, that's interesting, but and of course Portugal now we are enduring winter, so the house is really damp and everything's damp, and I thought, well, let's give it a try, and I'm sure within some days after being dried it will get moldy. No, it didn't. So I thought, maybe okay, so maybe it's because it's thin. Nevertheless, I kept on doing more paste, and I ended up by using that paste on a project that I've been working on, which is a peacock head on a piece on the top of a walking stick. So it's not really finished, but so this is the already the paper clay flour thing, and It's not thin at all, although it's not just. I know. I mean, it's not solid paper clay. It has a. Can't remember. I think it's aluminum foil wrapped, and then I cover the things. And yeah, it didn't get mold. Again, I thought it was rather rough. Looks rather rough, and it's not about my modeling skills. So again, inspired by Johnny Good from ultimatepapermache.com, I used toilet paper, and toilet paper I knew it became smoother because before or sometimes I make it also for my old idea of paper mache clay, and I know it's smoother. So let me show you this space here. It's normal paper, that just normal paper, like pieces of paper that one gets like leftovers, or I normally like or enjoy or love to go to the because we separate our garbage here, and there's the plastic thing and the don't know, rests of composite, I don't know, whatever, and of course the paper bag. So I just grab them and soak them and just zzz with a mixer, I think it's called, and well, it's a good resource for paper, and of course we'll be recycling, which is rather important. But the paste gets a bit rough. Nevertheless, it's good to wait. It's good to fill things, you know. If you need a big amount of paper clay, just for the basic shape, I think this space is just lovely. Yet again, and this one is the toilet paper one. So I think I'm sure. I'm sure that this one is rather perfect for details, and one can even do some modeling with it. So, within that idea, today I made this cat face. So you see here, this is the rough paper paste, and the white one is the smoother. The smoother paper. Yeah, it's a cat. I'm planning to make. It's flat, so it's flat, and I'm planning to make a silicone with starch. The what's the word? Cast a mold, and then reproduce them in blah blah for my Etsy shop. Another try was, again, I spoke about liquid cold porcelain. Another try was liquid whatever. I don't know. I don't have a name for it, but let me explain. So I told you about liquid porcelain being water, glue, and starch. Now I'm using a tiny bit of water, white glue, a coffee spoonful of this material, and some white flour, all-purpose flour, whatever you call it. baking flour. And then it's just stir, 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 stir until one gets some paste. I think the purpose is to have a tiny bit more of white glue than flour, because then again I'm a bit afraid of the mold. And where with that material, let's call it material or paste or whatever, I've been covering them. I've been using that to cover my heads. For example, this one, which was finished, but it wasn't. After all, you won't see much anyway. But it's a good paste, because with the flour, it really fills the gaps, and again, it gives a kind of smooth texture. And it's again mold free, and it's just perfect. These are my let's say beginnings of February video. I'm really happy because my Etsy shop is apparently moving, and I've been doing other things too. For example, this one cake, it's I don't know, vanilla chocolate kind of cake. It's not paper mache. The strawberry is this white paper mache. Yes, it is. It's hollow, and the cake things is expandable foam painted in brown, obviously, and these are toilet paper soaked in cold porcelain, liquid cold porcelain, and this one too, and then it's covered with that kind of liquid flour, whatever you want to call it, and afterwards just painted in white. This is to take to a nearby cafe in order to see if she would like them to have on her window or whatever. Doesn't look like that bad, I guess. The strawberry looks a bit strange, but still. So, wanna bite? Ciao!